Watching movies can take a while, and they often go out of style. But there's Megan and Ben to tell you what to watch with a smile. So I married a cinephile.
And we're rolling. Hi guys, I'm Ben Farmer, and
you were saying
I'm a cinephile.
I'm Megan Carver, and I'm a cine-newbie. We watch all kinds of movies.
What kind all kinds of movies?
New and old.
And we let you know if you should watch them too. This is a very, very special episode of So I Married a Cinephile. Welcome back to a very special episode of Sorry I Married a Cinephile. We're just gonna loop all this in. It's great, the music that you're doing.
Do you want me to start it over?
No, it's great. We'll fix it in post. This is a very special episode of Sorry I Married a Cinephile. This is our Oscar special. Tonight is actually the night of the 27th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards.
At the 27th annual.
Maybe 26 or 27.
I think it's more than that, my dear.
I'm pretty sure it's only 27.
But that may not be
Oscars?
very clear.
No, the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Tonight is the Screen Actors Guild Awards, the night that we're recording.
The night that we're recording. The night that you're listening to this
is
the Oscar.
Y'all
do.
I'm going to call it.
We need to start over.
We need to start over.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is...
Right.
Let's keep that for memories. And we're rolling. Hi, guys. I'm Ben Farmer, and I'm a cinephile.
I'm Megan Carver, and I'm a cine-newbie. We watch all kinds of movies, new and old.
And we let you know if you should watch them, too. Welcome to a very special episode of So I Married a Cinephile. Another episode of Season 5, but tonight is so special. Why? Because it's award season.
Oscar special.
And it's the Oscar special.
Yay. It is award season.
It's that time of year where they're just handing out awards to actors because some actors are apparently better than others.
I will always default back to Amy Poehler, who, whenever she's ever been nominated for anything, she has this phrase called, "Don't care about the pudding. You can't want the pudding." Because if you want the pudding, you're going to get your hopes up. And then if you don't get it, because you get a 1 in 5 chance of getting it, then you're going to be really disappointed. So that's why she and Tina Fey pull so many pranks at award shows, because it gives them something else to focus on.
That's so great.
No joke. That's their whole reason why they do that.
And any rate, another reason this episode is so special, it is a release for everyone. And I don't like the way that came out, so I'm going to rephrase that. It is going to be released for everyone.
All of our cine listeners.
The format of this episode is going to be a little bit different. We have Oscar trivia. We have our own Oscar predictions for the 2021 Oscars.
We reviewed an Oscar-winning movie for this episode.
That's right. And there were some really good guesses on Instagram. So brava to all who submitted a guess.
Yes.
So again,
if you're watching on Patreon, you may notice we have dressed up for this Oscar special.
Megan and I look like we're going to church.
I look like a 1950s housewife.
Megan had the
Thank
vacuum
God
cleaner.
for my electric dress.
She had the vacuum cleaner out earlier, and I'm like, oh, wow.
I was literally pouring out like boiled water from boiling chicken. I was like, in this dress, I'm like, oh God.
This is your audition for like Donna Reed's role in It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Waiting for me to come home from the old bank and savings and loan.
Yes. Cut back to Molly's prediction on what the prom movie, remember the musical that she was in, To the Moon? Your prediction is like, no, it's about her. It's about It's a Wonderful Life.
I totally forgot about
that.
That's
so that was your prediction. Your prediction was it was a wonderful life. I have no idea what It's a Wonderful Life is about. I've never seen it, heard it, read it, watched it.
Wow, we might need to do that for next season.
Maybe season 6.
Season 6, winter.
All right.
So again, this episode will contain our predictions for this year's Oscars. We have a ton of Oscar trivia ready for you. But again, we are going to review an Oscar-nominated film for this episode.
And we are going to be releasing this to pretty much everybody because we wanted everybody to feel like they could be involved and enjoy. So welcome to the Oscar special, the award season special.
That's right.
You're going to get to hear it all, the rants and raves and the all that. Look at us.
Megan,
my hands are moving.
How are you?
I'm well.
Are you doing well?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I like this dress. I'm not used to dresses. Like
when was the last time you wore a dress?
I mean, I've worn dresses a couple times since the pandemic, but I have not worn a fancy dress. Like cue the fancy dress audition song. I have not worn a fancy dress in so long.
I haven't worn a 3-piece suit in forever. So it definitely makes you sit a certain way, changes your posture.
I also this is a little bit tighter than it was before the pandemic. So there's that too, which I'm okay with.
It's okay.
So I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Again, I feel confident wearing this suit. I feel like I'm about to audition for Mad Men or something.
Molly, doesn't he look like Tintin? Did you ever watch Tintin?
I did not.
No? All right. Well, then.
Sorry, let me use words instead of nodding or shaking my head. Hello, this is a podcast. It's an audio medium. Okay.
Welcome to the podcast, So I'm
Yes. Wow. He looks like Tintin. I want him to be Tintin for Halloween.
I'll take that as a compliment, though. I have no idea who Tintin is.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Molly, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Well, you look smashing.
I feel weird in a dress. I am an activewear girl through and through.
Same.
I had bright red lipstick on. I was like, let's put clothes on that are real after a year of not.
Yeah.
I'm happy about it, but it definitely is making me feel away. Like I'm like,
I feel
like weird energy about me.
I feel like anxious or like I feel like nervous or trepidatious. I'm like, what? Am I behaving the right way? Is this normally how I hold my arms? Like,
I'm not sure what to do with
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Try Guys. That's a line from a very famous line from one of their videos.
Speaking of hands, the people in today's movie are really good with their hands.
They really are.
And their feet. They're good at
their
flying.
Legs.
They're good at running up walls.
They're good at acting too.
All
of the inside athletics that come with it, as well as the external athletics. So this Oscar-winning movie that we reviewed is
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's right. From the yesteryear of the year 2000. Megan and I were talking about the year 2000 before. I mean, I love this movie too, but before we started this season of the podcast, we're like, we should do like millennium movies for like weeks in a row. I'm talking like the first X-Men movie or like Can't Hardly Wait, stuff that came around at like 1999, the year 2000.
Was
because
that Matrix as well.
The Matrix.
Idle just thinking we should do the Matrix. And then I was like, do we need another Keanu Reeves movie? And I was like, we need one more round of debating how you say his name.
Yes.
So
it's true.
Yes, we do.
The fourth Matrix movie is coming out, I believe.
Oh yes, it is. The person that cut my hair was telling me about that.
Very excited.
Yes.
For it.
But so we decided to go with this also too, because Molly has not seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
And
we were
crazy.
Like, you have to see this movie. This is an incredible movie.
And when it came out, I remember so I was 16, but I remember this movie coming out that everyone was talking about, and it was a foreign film and it got all these Oscar nominations. And I'm like, really? But then I rented it from Hollywood Video and it just blew my mind, because I don't know if this came out before The Matrix or after. I think it came out after, but
not sure.
Again, we'll get into the history of the film. Yeah. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out in the year 2000, rated PG-13 for those of you who care about the ratings. The actual name of the movie is Wohu Kang Long, which interprets to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Also for those who care about how this movie interprets. The plot breakdown per IMDb: a young Chinese woman steals a sword from a famed swordsman and then escapes
I thought you were going to leave it at just that.
Period. And then she escapes into a world of romantic adventure with a mysterious man from the frontier of their nation.
I'm sorry. No, that is not what this movie is about.
It both
Wait, all right.
Isn't.
I'm
not in that order, though.
Because here's the thing. This is Molly's favorite segment, and Molly has not done plot in 60 seconds. I've done it. I don't think Ben has done it yet. But...
Maybe Molly and I can do it together.
I think we might need to. Okay, I can do it. I can do it.
Are you sure? Okay.
All right, you ready? Okay. All right, plot in 60 seconds whenever you're ready.
I'm never going to be ready.
Okay, here you go. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Okay. Michelle Yeoh is a badass martial arts fighter, and she is transporting a very special sword that belongs to someone she loves to be safely hidden away. And while she's at the place that she brings it, she meets this young lady who is very interested in her and the sword. And spoiler alert, the sword gets stolen. And so what does happen after that? So Michelle Yeoh goes after her, and so does the guy whose sword it was, Master Lee, right? That's Master Lee, yeah. And there's a lot of fighting, and physics physics has left the chat.
7, 6,
and
5.
they get it back, and the girl is fiery.
Molly, that was amazing.
That is why this movie
and the girl
got so many Oscar nominations.
Is fiery.
And the girl is fiery.
Whoever presented
what would you say? Physics or gravity?
Both. Physics has left the chat.
Physics has left the chat.
Gravity need not apply.
I am stealing that. I have not. Amazing. That is a solid AIM reference for all those kids who don't know what we're talking about. That is brilliant.
The funny thing is that reference is back now, but people don't know like
where it originally came from.
Oh, yeah, and I was thinking about that with this movie too, because someone was like, why are you reviewing such an old movie? And I was like, there are full-blown adults who are 18, 19 who pay their own rent and like live fulfilling lives who were not born when this movie came out. They probably haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I am also a 36-year-old adult who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, there are a lot of 36-year-old adults out there and older who have not seen it, and it's
so hopefully we have some young listeners and some, shout out also to Singapore. Apparently we got some listeners in Singapore. What? Like, I was listening or looking at our Matrix the other day, and so shout out to Singapore.
That's
awesome. Yeah. Thanks for listening, Singapore.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I'm gonna corral up and say let's go to Ben for first thoughts or first impressions.
Before I go into first impressions, I just want to give a quick sort of not shout out, but roll call. Thank you. I'm going to roll call the cast, the main characters.
Yeah. Shibuya roll call.
The cast of main characters and the director. This film was directed by Ang Lee. A lot of the movies that he did after Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon were all also Oscar nominated babies, particularly Brokeback Mountain, which famously in 2005 lost Best Picture to
Moonlight.
Not Moonlight. It wasn't to Traffic.
Another gay movie.
No. I mean, I'll save that. I'll save that for Oscar trivia. But Brokeback Mountain was nominated for a ton of Oscars. It was thought to win Best Picture, but it actually didn't. Another movie that was another Oscar darling was Life of Pi, which came out a little bit more recently. But Ang Lee also directed a really bad version of The Incredible Hulk. It was just called Hulk. I don't know if anyone on this podcast or Zoom call has seen Hulk.
No,
don't. It's pretty bad. It's a great cast, but it's a terrible movie.
I'm gonna bet our friends at Broadway.forme on Instagram have seen that.
And starring Chow Yun-fat, who plays Li Mu-bai, who is the Swordmaster. Michelle Yeoh, who plays Shen Liu or Lu Shen. Shulin. Thank you.
I wrote it phonetically.
Thank you so much. Michelle Yeoh, who plays Shulin, who is the romantic interest to Li Mu-bai in the movie, and then Zhang Ziyi, who plays Jen, who is the young girl sort of caught up in this world of thieves and sword masters and intrigue. She is. She absolutely is.
She is not caught up in it. She thrusts herself into it because she is a little. Anyway,
she's fiery.
She
fiery.
The little girl
That's
is fiery.
Nice.
My first impressions, bridging right into first impressions. Again, this movie came out when I was 15, 16 years old. It came out post Matrix, if I remember correctly. I knew that the guy who did all of the stunt work for the Matrix did the stunt work for this movie. His name is Yen Wu Ping, and he has an entire team of martial artists and stuntmen who do all of this crazy wire work, which is stuff that they had been doing in Chinese movies for a long time, but American audiences hadn't really been introduced to a lot of it yet. So again, when movies like The Matrix came out and this movie came out, it really changed the perspective on how Americans view foreign films, particularly action films and martial arts movies.
You're gonna say how they see gravity, because that's
Americans just stop believing in gravity.
Stop.
Flat earthers loved this movie. So yeah, I just remember being a teenager, being not only so enthralled with The Matrix and the work that Yuen Woo-ping and his team did on that movie, but knowing that they also did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and it's such a beautiful film. It's such a gorgeous film to look at.
It's gorgeous.
And it is actually a film that is not that violent. And I think I'll get into that a little bit later. But the violence scale, I would be okay showing this to, like, I don't know, a 12 or 13-year-old. Like it's almost more dancing than it is fighting to me.
I'm just thinking of a couple of spots that might be
a couple of spots get a little bit scary.
So when did you first see this?
I rented this movie again from a Hollywood Video on DVD when I was 16 years old, and I watched it over and over and
Did
over
you
again.
really?
Wow.
It was
that
so
does not surprise
cool
me.
to just watch and look at. I was just blown away by what I was seeing. It was a style of action movie that I had never experienced before, and I was changed.
Yeah. There's this was from a while back. This was, I think, when you had Facebook. This is a long time ago, and you had quotes like that you had said, or like funny things you'd said. And one of the things that you had on your Facebook profile was you had said to your roommates, "I just want to eat cereal and watch my gay cowboy movie," because you were watching.
Because I was watching Brokeback Mountain for the first time.
But I can just envision you as a 16-year-old just pouring cereal bowl after cereal bowl, just watching movies.
Drinking a Pepsi,
like that is you, and why you are the cinephile you are today.
Between bouts of Tekken 3 on PlayStation, that's when I watch movies. So no, it really changed the way and how I view foreign films. And it actually got me more into watching foreign films. I hadn't really given a whole lot of my time or energy to them. So just seeing what other countries were producing and putting out there was really incredible.
I would agree. And well, actually, okay. So I would say really quickly, I'm going to do mine because I'm curious about Molly's, but of course. But I remember, like, we were at our house. The Oscars were a big thing.
Were they really?
Oh yeah.
And like, yet you haven't seen any movies.
No, of course not. That's not the point. You turn it on to look at pretty dresses, to hear people say nice things about the industry, and to eat apps. Like, that is why this is basically the like actors equivalent to the Super Bowl. That's what I thought.
And so you guys would make like Marge Gunderson cheese sliders or something?
Yes, we absolutely. We had my mom's special dip. We had like mozzarella sticks and all of that. Nice. It was a big thing. And I remember when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon won, we were all like, what is this movie? We've never heard of this foreign film. And my parents were like, well, I guess we should probably watch it if it's that good. And so then they rented it, just like everybody else that hadn't seen it until that point. Yeah. They rented it, and we all sat down as a family and just like dumbfounded watched this movie.
What?
Like, yeah. And then my brother Jordan, if he didn't already have a stick collection, he started gathering a stick collection of giant ass sticks that he would just start fighting no one in the backyard, and because that's what you do. But
it's like finding a new action hero too,
right. So no, I remember like rewatching it now. I think I forgot how long it is, and I think I forgot how the plot is actually. I'm like, you're so dumb. Like, it made me mad, but then it brought me back actually to Karate Kid and the whole baggage stuff about honor.
Here we go.
So at any rate,
fans of the
maybe
podcast,
more Karate Kid 2 more than Karate Kid.
Fans of the podcast will know that Megan disliked the first Karate Kid movie, but liked the second one.
I have issues with it. I don't want to get into it. That's not what
that's
this
a whole
is about.
Other episode.
Molly, what were your first impressions of this movie?
Well, I clearly have known about it for 21 years. I have not watched it, and it has been on my to watch list along with Hero. I know I need to watch that.
Jet Li's in Hero, isn't he?
Sure. I've never seen it. I don't know.
You were just told to watch it.
Okay, super weird tangent. I took pop culture courses in college, and one of the things we were watching, like we watched parts of it to talk about the storytelling.
Okay.
But we didn't watch the whole thing, and I was like, I gotta watch this because we were talking about, I believe there's like color involved in Hero. Anyways, so I watched a lot of, I've watched a lot of clips of movies in pop culture and like movie history through movies classes, but never got to like finish a lot of them. So like I've seen like the first half of Green Mile, and
so it's like the Green
2/3 of like Blood Diamond, and like all of these. I took a Black History through movies course.
I feel like that's even better than not watching it at all, because then you're like, I kind of, it's like watching Bambi up until the point where his mother gets shot. You just are like, well, I guess they're just happy deers. Like
the teacher was getting his point across, you know. He's like, we got to the point, and we don't, if you want to watch it, now we're done. Because the class was like an hour and a half, and every movie apparently is 3 hours long. That's the other thing.
So, if only we could have like Michael Scott movie Mondays at work at school.
If only.
Yeah. So I've seen in these courses clips of movies and then been like, I should watch that. But then I never did.
Right.
Because as we've mentioned in other podcasts, I spent my entire childhood learning every lyric to musical theater.
Of course.
And saying, I'll get to that later.
After
because
rehearsal.
This was, I was in high school, and I can't tell you what movies I actually watched in high school.
21 years goes by.
It goes by so fast. So, so yes, I was excited to get to watch this. I could not find an English dubbed version.
Good.
Which is fine.
I prefer that.
I was having a really hard time concentrating and focusing. I am a person that watches movies with subtitles on at all times, TV and movies, normalized subtitles. And I have learned that I've missed a lot of even movies and TV shows that I've like watched 100 times. I'll put subtitles on and I'll be like, I never heard that.
I've heard about this, that it's actually a really good idea to always have captions on.
Yeah, like normalize it. It's part of the reason I don't like going to the movies anymore, is I miss having the subtitles. I'm like,
and they only have like a couple of, showings that have that.
Yeah. But Netflix has gotten me so used to just captions. So so I really did have to like focus up on this one, and I stopped taking notes because I realized I would start taking notes and then miss what happened because I couldn't hear what they were saying. So
I looking away.
I had to make a choice between like pausing and taking 5 hours to watch the movie, or just watching and not taking a lot of notes. So I just watched it. I took it all in. I found it gorgeous, and I have to say I'm very happy I have seen it now.
Yay! I was gonna be so bummed if you were like, I didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
So bummed out. I'm so glad though.
There are no tigers or dragons.
Okay, that is also that's
true.
True.
That I do have an issue with that. I do have an issue with that.
Crouching tigers or hiding dragons.
And I actually did in regards to specifically, and to keep things short, like the Q&A for this one, if people have a preference about, seeing foreign films, and if you like to see them dubbed or like to see them with the captions on, because I know that people have very strong feels about this.
I have to have subtitles for most foreign films I watch, because I think, Molly, I agree with you that I just catch more. And the first time I watched this, I think it was with subtitles. So I absorbed the story right away. And thankfully there's enough during the action scenes. There's actually dialogue happening during a lot of the action scenes that I try to catch too. But again, this was a movie that I watched over and over and over again. But for me, I always prefer having subtitles on for foreign films.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is that it's like, I remember watching the dubbed version, and after having remembered seeing it without dubbed, like the voices that they picked, whomever it was was weird to me. And like the original inflection is gone. Like, I'm like, that's a good chunk of your acting gone.
I think there are reasons for that. Because the three main actors all spoke different forms of Mandarin, like they were all from different parts of Asia. So their Mandarin
sorry.
sounded different.
I just mean in life, like if you're watching any kind of foreign film. I would prefer to have it with the original stuff and subtitles.
I absolutely
versus a dubbed version.
I
totally agree. I just wanted to get through it quickly.
Because I know some people are like, I don't want to read a movie. I'm not going to do it. Like people are like, Yeah.
It felt like homework. I won't lie. This movie felt like homework this week. I was like, I have to watch a movie and I have to pay attention and I have to like really focus. But while I was watching it, I was like, I would have loved to have seen this in theaters.
Yeah.
Right.
Just being able to actually sit and only focus on the screen and have some popcorn and a Coca-Cola and just like have that experience. This movie is definitely made for that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I was like, ooh, I wish I was in a theater right now.
Yeah, specifically like the bamboo fight. Oh my god,
so
they're
gorgeous.
fighting in the trees. I'm like, oh, I remember just like, so
gorgeous.
But the other thing that I was going to ask too is just in regards to, and this is something that happens in the movie that's in regards to honor. That is, if you listen to our Karate Kid 2 episode, there's a lot of talk about honor, and that's something that holds people back apparently from pursuing romantic relationships that make them happy. And that's something that I was curious about, if that's something that, I don't know. I guess for me, I was just like, just do it. Like, your brother's dead. Just do it. Like, for me, I'm American. Just go do it.
Are you talking about like Shulin and Li Mubai? Their whole thing?
Yeah, their whole thing.
Yeah.
Their whole thing. Because it's established right at the beginning. You guys are clearly in love with each other. Could you guys just do it?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of themes that have to do with honor, yes, but more of like duty. And this ties into Jen's role as well, because she's betrothed. She has to get married. But spoilers, wow. If we get into spoilers, this movie's 21 years old, so deal. I guess. Watch it. But we find out that Jen also has like this side hustle of being a thief and a criminal and tied in with this whole criminal organization.
I wouldn't
she's
a ninja.
She's absolutely a ninja.
I don't know. But that's the thing too, is I didn't understand her reasoning for wanting to steal the sword, other than just saying that she stole it.
She was taught her master,
bored, right? She seems
right. She seems a little kind of blasé about the whole direction of her life and where it's going. So maybe the fact that she is about to get married, because that is a woman's duty,
right,
and her place in the world. And even Michelle Yeoh's character Shulin, who becomes sort of a sister, sort of mentor to young Jen, says, oh, this is what you are supposed to do, so I recommend that you do this. But she's also like doing detective work at the same time, and it bridges a lot into duty for me. Like what is a woman's place? And I think that for me was like the most mind-blowing part of watching it now as an almost 37-year-old man was how much more I focused on these female characters and how they are presented with their duties as women in this culture, and how Jen is actually fighting against that, both with like her ninja persona, because she doesn't want to like marry this guy. Plus she has like this whole past romance with this other guy.
Other side thing.
And then Shulin.
That whole thing is one of my favorite parts of this movie. The whole desert, everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
It feels like its own like separate movie.
I was just gonna say that.
Gets
like
into
it's its own story.
Lawrence of Arabia, kind of like big picture.
Oh my gosh.
Like CinemaScope movies. But then Shulin is also struggling with her duty, because she feels like she's so tied to her job, I guess, that she can't be with Li Mubai.
Right. It was like
sorry. So
no, go.
She's tied to her. She was engaged to Li Mubai's master, and the master got killed.
I thought it was the brother.
I totally missed that?
That's how I read it. Is like they can't be together because she was originally engaged to his master, who died from the Jade Fox's hand, by Jade Fox's hand.
Right.
And they don't really go into this, but I assume in their grief they got closer. But they can't be together because they have this like.
Or is it more on Li Mubai because he is about to retire? We should say that too.
Right.
He's giving up his sword.
She was
He's
engaged
not becoming
to his brother.
To his brother who is dead.
Oh, okay.
He was engaged to his brother, and then the brother was killed.
Dead. Okay.
And so they bonded over his brother dying and her fiance dying, and then they're like, we can't dishonor his memory by getting together. Yeah.
Right.
So I thought yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But now that Li Mubai is retiring, maybe there's an open window for this to happen.
Right.
And of course, the movie happens at the most important moment of everyone's life.
I was gonna say it made it seem like you either need to follow your duty and get married or be a ninja like shipping security person.
Well, yeah,
like
she's like private security. That's her job.
She is private security.
Like, she's like
super
ye
cool.
old logistics. Like that's what she was.
And so and she's a warrior. She lives by the sword. So maybe she feels like she can't, she can't leave all of that behind for the in the name of love. So to me, there's a lot of themes that have to do with duty and specifically around a woman's role and what she is supposed to do.
Well, and interestingly enough, too, I just looked at my notes. Like Jade Fox, the whole reason that Jade Fox has an issue with the master who was killed is that she just wanted to be a ninja.
And there was that. And the master slept with her.
She's like, he'll sleep with me, but he won't teach me how to fight because I'm a woman.
Exactly.
Like I rewatching it, I noticed way more stuff about like specifically duty of a woman, which is not something you think of when you see this like poster and you see like you watch it, you're like, oh my God, there's all these undertones.
I have a question.
Okay.
That maybe we can spitball this between the three of us. And Molly, I know you referenced this before, but how the character of Jade Fox, how does she infiltrate these sort of high-end families and organizations? Is this part of Jade Fox's MO where she infiltrates rich families and then or like the Wudon dojo and steals their secrets? Or what is her beef? Like where does Jade Fox come from?
We don't know.
We don't know.
I thought she was
very well.
Yeah, I thought she was Jen's mother for a long time until I realized that she wasn't. But she is a motherly figure. So she does. She travels with at least one family of means. And is able to
I guess
get into these higher level places.
Like infiltrate.
It was unclear to me. It's unclear to me as to why she picked this family, why she taught this girl, even though it sounds like it was just they stumbled into each other and she's like, I taught you to fight. We just kind of happenstance.
I don't know. It was interesting for me to try and like piece that together. What I think happened was Jade Fox was pushed out by the Wudon clan. Like, again, she wanted to learn how to fight with their secrets. But like she said, the master would sleep with me, but he wouldn't teach me his secrets, and he just discards her.
Yes.
Right.
So she infiltrates this rich family, finds young Jen, and sees in her maybe a way to interpret the secrets that she's stolen from the Wudang clan and try to teach them to her. But she ends up being way smarter than Jade Fox anticipates. And maybe that's kind of like Jade Fox's revenge is I'm going to teach their secrets to this girl and turn her into a weapon.
I think she got kicked out. I think that she,
am I just
I think you're complicated. I think she got kicked out and she needed a job. And she's like, well, I can be a governess and take care of kids. And the family that she happened to get hired on for was like, oh, well, this gal's actually really talented. Here's this book that I'm reading. Why don't I teach you how to, be a ninja? But I can only like read 2/3 of it. So, we'll just do the part that I know. And then Jen is like, well, I can read all thirds of it. So I'm going to read all of it. And I'm not going to tell you the stuff that I learned that you don't know because you are not high enough educated to be able to understand what all these things are. You hid secrets from me from the manifest. That was the whole thing that Jade Fox said.
Right.
And then she's like, well, I need to take revenge. This jerk guy, you need to go get the green sword so we can kill this dude. And I don't know. I think it was something along those lines. It is confusing.
I think Jen stealing the Green Destiny sword is like a total like side thing. Like Jen just decides to do it for herself.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I kind of got, okay. So another thing that I'm surprised has not come up in this podcast yet is I have an ability to guess what is going to happen in a movie or a TV show immediately.
Okay.
And as soon as I saw Jen, I went, she's going to steal the sword. I knew it. I was like, she's gonna steal it, but I was like, that why? Like, I was just couldn't read her, and so from not being able to read her, I was like, that is a choice,
right?
And that is because she is going to steal the sword. And it did feel like it was just her. It feels like she's done with Jade Fox, and she's only still with Jade Fox because of Jade Fox's like proximity to the family and her actual duty, and she is done with Jade Fox as her
Typical
master.
Teenager.
And so yeah, it really felt like she was just like, I see the sword, I see what this lifestyle has done for Lynn, and I see myself in her, and I want the sword to like level up, kind of thing. And it was just definitely like a personal, like, I'm gonna see if I can do it, and I'm gonna see if it's gonna help me.
That makes way more sense.
My bigger question, I had zero like even thought of Jade Fox's backstory. My bigger question was, who taught Shu Lin? Because I would have assumed that she was at Wudon until, and because they have that whole fight scene, and then she goes, you trained at Wudon, and then after that we find out that women aren't allowed to be trained there. So my question immediately was then, well, who trained Michelle Yeoh?
Right,
because she's
fucking. Did Li Mu Bai teach her?
Right? We don't know.
Show me that movie. Right. I almost wanted to see a movie of like side quests.
I wrote down in my notes just Michelle Yeoh is Batman. Like that's just it. She just
every time. So this is our second Michelle Yeoh movie of this season, and I'll harken back to what I said in Crazy Rich Asians. I need Michelle Yeoh in my life. I need her directing my every move. I need her as a big sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to, I just want to be near her because I feel like I would just be a better person.
So
I was thinking of that as I was watching the movie too. I was like, no wonder Ben loves her.
Yes.
Like, oh my God. Like in 20 years goes by.
All of the actors in it, like no wonder we all love them. Like I didn't realize that this was the breakthrough movie for Americans to like normalize all of these actors into our lives who we now have continued to be prolific in the last 2 decades. So it's like, oh, this is that movie, and no wonder Ben thinks she's a badass because she's a fucking badass.
Right.
That was my real first impression. Was just like, oh, Michelle Yeoh.
That's amazing.
So then I want to be sure that we have some time for Oscar stuff.
Yes.
So let's move into hot takes. AKA like also a bit of rant and rave. I think we can do a little bit of hot takes plus that.
Exactly. We're just going to combine them for this episode.
Yes, this is one and the same, which to be honest, they kind of bleed into each
you
other.
Were giggling
anyways,
at something. What were you?
I was.
I feel
just
like you should
because
lead off.
I wrote down the guy carrying the abacus in the fight scene.
That's right.
With Jen at the restaurant. Where she's being a bitch, like just a straight up snotty ass bitch, and these guys are coming up to her to like, they're not being rude, they're just like, hey, who are you, like what do you do? And she's like, bye, like she's so rude. And so then they're like, typical, you're rude, I'm gonna fight you. So that's what we do. This one guy just had an abacus.
I missed it.
The giant thing, just a big square thing with the thingy things, and I'm like, what, I'm gonna fight you with fractions? I didn't understand why he had an abacus. So I was giggling at that. And then I also too, this is more of like for rants and raves, the guard who is supposed to be protecting the princess Jen and her family, and
he's on night watch duty.
He's also supposed to be watching over the
sword, right?
No, not the sword. The guy who's watching the sword, because the sword was given to him.
Oh, Governor Yu.
Governor Yu. Mm-hmm. The security guard for the governor is horrible.
He does
a terrible job.
He starts this like side romance with the daughter of the inspector who's infiltrated.
You mentioned that it's a romance. I didn't pick up that it was a romance.
There's the scene where he is standing in front of the door. So I think
it's after
again spoilers. Jade Fox kills the man who's actually a cop who's also infiltrated Governor Yu's compound because he wants to kill Jade Fox because she killed his wife. Anyways, he and his daughter are there to kill Jade Fox because they heard that she was in the area.
Yes.
Jade Fox kills the cop guy.
Right.
And now it's just the daughter. But the bodyguard, the night watchman, is like standing guard over her now.
Protecting her.
And then she's like, you should come in.
You should come in here.
You should come in here. And I'm like, there it is.
No, I didn't. I think
you didn't read it that way?
No, I think it was just saying
she just wanted to cuddle.
She is cold outside. It is cold outside. You should come inside.
I don't think so.
I didn't think it was.
You should come inside.
What's that?
I am in mourning for my family right now, and I don't want to be alone. No romance to it, but like, because what she said, it was like, there's no reason for you to be outside.
Yeah.
Molly,
like, we can be together.
I thought you were personally saying that you were in mourning for your family.
No.
And that we should stop this.
Sorry.
This thread. I was like, whoa.
No.
We had a whole
time out. Okay.
No. Okay.
Molly's
All
like,
right.
I'm actually in mourning right now.
No,
so
I
can we
need
move
to
on?
go.
I'm like, oh fuck. I'm so sorry.
Why I'm wearing this very boobalicious black dress.
Right.
Mourning.
I thought the same exact thing. Like,
right.
she didn't want to be alone.
But she didn't want to be alone.
Thought it was a romantic.
And she even says something like, there's no point in you being outside. We can, like, we're stronger together or something like that. Like, we're going to be able to watch each other's backs inside, whereas like you're just alone and I'm alone.
And fronts.
So then why is he protecting her? I'm pretty sure that you have a governor that you need to protect. And you're just off here watching this girl. Like, what are you doing?
Like, you're not paid to watch her.
You lost the green sword.
You did.
You went out to take care of the cop, and he died.
You use the stupidest weapons to fight people with.
And then now
you use a stick with another stick on the end of it.
You're not gonna. I did enjoy the ribbon dancer exit from Jade Fox.
That was
amazing.
That was crazy.
Smoking the ribbon dancer.
He was the worst, and he made me angry throughout this entire movie. I was like, this is Indiana Jones level security. It's
so bad.
Awful. Duder has bad security. Like, it made me mad.
That leads me into my hot take, which is basically the men in this movie are pointless.
Yes!
They don't do anything.
I agree.
They literally don't do anything. It's like
there.
they are there for romantic interest to the female leads who are kicking ass, which is
they are
dope
taking
to see 21 years ago because they literally role reverse
everything
like ninja movie you've ever seen,
and
where like the girl is just there for boobs.
If
and like
if you had a movie and you're like, this doesn't pass the Bechdel test, this is the reverse, and this doesn't pass the Dichtel test. Like,
there's men, both Lowe and Master Lee, are kind of worthless.
They're like pretty worthless. They're really aloof.
They are worthless without
in the terms
the women
of
who make them better.
Right. In terms of the storyline that they are in the story that is being told, not
They're
in general,
all
in like but in like
to make them whole. They're all seeking. My mind is being blown right now.
I actually have some trivia about
that is a great hot take.
Like, would this movie be different without the men, if the men weren't there? And the answer is no.
Yes. I completely agree.
I don't think this movie would be different if the men weren't there.
I completely agree. This is like an Indiana Jones,
there would be
Raiders of the Lost Ark scenario.
Less tears.
Maybe less tears. Yeah.
There'd be less sexy time in the desert. I mean,
that's which I enjoy. I did enjoy his singing. That was fun.
That was funny.
I mean, that
Lowe
was just
really
foreplay, and it was great. I was like, this fighting is foreplay, and I'm here for it.
Yes, I know.
It was so cute.
I know. As soon as they started kissing, Ben's like, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what the scene's about.
There it is.
It only took 20 minutes to fucking get there, guys.
And I also loved, kind of bridging into that sequence, I loved Jen's role in that sequence where she gets out of the carriage.
Oh, yeah.
She gets on a horse.
Yeah.
Chases this motherfucker down because he took something from her, and she fights tooth and nail to get. It is the most entertaining and tells you so much about who this character is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is one of the best parts of the movie. My hot take is actually more in the form of a question. What happens to Jen at the end of the movie?
Right. Well, we don't know.
Because we don't know, right?
She takes a leap of faith.
The legend is you jump off the top of the mountain and your wish comes true.
If you make it.
She didn't make a wish.
She asked Lowe to make the wish.
But we already know that gravity has left the chat. So
so she just like bounced on.
She can fly. We literally watch her fly this whole movie.
If Wonder Woman 84 taught us anything, you can lasso clouds.
We have no reason to believe she doesn't make it.
get her right.
I definitely thought she did. I definitely like she did not make it. Like she 100% didn't make it.
She turned gravity back on and didn't make it.
Yeah, she just she turned into clouds and was like, I'm done with this.
Done.
Like,
interesting.
Because Lo is like
clouds.
crying, and so and, like the exchange there at the end is so like sorrowful. Like she asks him to make a wish, and he's like, I want to be back in the desert with you forever. Jumps right off, and I guess it's up to each person's interpretation of okay, do we get what we want, or are we destined to destroy ourselves? I don't know.
It's
both.
Yeah, my takeaway was that she was going to start a brand new life with all of the skills that she's learned, everything that she's like, this dude is worthless. What's he doing here? Take my comb. I'm out.
Yeah.
I killed
her own logistics.
The guy who was gonna teach me fucking died. So I'm out. And Jade Fox is also dead. Like everyone who could teach her is dead, and everyone who she loved is a loser. And she's like, okay, maybe I could just go be a ninja somewhere else. Also feels like it was kind of left open for a sequel. Maybe a little bit that could have been a sequel. But it just never happened.
Maybe
that's a really good point.
There is actually another Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie. I don't know if I wrote down the title, but there's definitely, I don't know if it's a direct sequel to this, but it did not do well at all.
Believe that.
So there's a part of me that like wants to watch it, but at the same time I'm like,
there's other movies we can watch.
So I think that's it for hot takes. Shall we jump into some trivia? About Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I have like one more hot take.
Go for it.
And that is that in 2021, Jen is like not, I mean, it's already, in 2000, it was already like, is she a protagonist or an antagonist, right? Because like, she's like the most likable antagonist or the most dislikable protagonist. Like it was really hard because clearly Jade Fox is the real antagonist in all of this, right? She's the bad guy, but for a long time, because she, in my mind while I'm watching this, I'm like, they set her up to be the bad guy by stealing the sword and like being Jade
she's
Fox's
a murderer
protege. She's a murderer. So but it feels like that part would have been written maybe slightly different in 2021,
maybe
to make it a little less ambiguous about whether she, like, I don't know, because I was rooting for her, right? I also wanted her to fail, like at the same time. I was like, this is weird.
Yes, exactly.
Why is this? And I feel like it's because I'm watching a 2000 movie from the lens of 2021.
The only true antagonist in this movie is lack of transparency. If we had just said, hey, I know some more stuff in this book,
and physics.
If we had just said, hey, I fucking love you. If we had just said, hey, I'm actually not very good at my job, maybe you should hire a different security person. If we'd just been honest about what we were doing.
This all has to do with asking for what you need.
It is. Okay. Just ask for what you need and be honest.
I really like that. And I think
that's a really good point.
I think, again, the movie is always about the most formative and important moments in these characters' lives. And I feel like for Jen, she possesses so much power, but she is so conflicted about who she wants to be.
Yeah.
And I never really realized, because you just brought this up, I never really realized how close of a connection she has to Shu Lin due to her conflicted romantic feelings. For Shu Lin feels this for Li Mubai. Jen is in love with Lo, but she has to marry this guy. So they actually have that in common. So to me, I guess to try and answer your question, or your hot take, is that to answer your hot take, this is a very formative moment in her life, and we get to see her go through try all of these sort of different options of like, okay, I'm a ninja thief who is bored and like has outgrown Jade Fox, but I'm also in love with my old boyfriend. I don't want to get married, but I also know that I am very powerful and I could be a master if I wanted to, and the sword makes me even stronger, even though I don't know how to use it. So I know I need training. This whole thing of like, which road is she going to choose? So I think it's a little bit of both. I feel like she's the character we're supposed to relate to the most. Maybe.
Situation.
I
don't know.
Yeah, maybe. It was like I was rooting for her, and then we got to that restaurant scene and I was like, you fiery bitch, I hate you. It was like they just kept going back and forth, and you're like, I'm rooting for you, but give the sword back. But like, fuck you, but like
but she's also disguising herself as a man in those scenes.
They call her boy until they realize that she's not.
Right.
Master Long or something like that. Like that's how Jen identifies herself, and they assume that that Jen is a man. So I thought that whole sequence was kind of a message of like, oh, your assumptions are wrong. And again, specifically around women in this movie, because you're totally right. The men are pretty useless in this film. So I think that kind of arcs into the theme of like, not that men are useless, but in this story they are. But at the same time, don't judge a book by its cover, because this this person who looks like a boy will fuck you up and ends up doing just that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also make sure that you, I know, he just woke up. Also make sure that you get proper coverage for your restaurant in case a ninja fight just
get that
breaks
ninja fight
out.
Insurance.
I do think of that kind of stuff every time I watch
wrote
movies
that
like
down.
this.
I was
I'm
like, does insurance cover that?
Does collateral damage, like every time I watch movies like the Avengers, which I'm glad they finally started talking about that in like that series. It's like, we hate the Avengers because they just blow, like,
you kill people and blow shit up.
You just ruin fucking buildings all the time. Anyways,
you literally picked up an entire city and dropped it. Like,
dropped it. But
what?
I can't stop thinking about those things when I watch that kind of action sequence, and
so
that's not
cool
the point of it.
It's not like
I still think
for me,
it.
I just think of like the stunt work and the artistry and the camera work and how much fucking rehearsal it takes, because you're working with props, you're working with set pieces that have to fall apart.
Also, too, like really quickly, what is your favorite fight scene in this entire movie? If you had to pick one.
I think mine. Oh fuck, that's not fair.
Yes, it is.
That's not fair.
Yes, it
Damn
is.
it.
I think my favorite fight scene, I'm going to let someone else say the bamboo, because I know that is somebody else's favorite. And it's at the top of my head, but it's not. I think it's between Jen and Lo when she like first discovers her badassery in the flashback, and she just like will not give up, because that is a whole flashback. Like obviously it's a flashback.
It's a long one too.
It's a really long. It's like a whole other movie.
A third of the movie.
Right.
But I think that you do like that. I feel like was where I solidified that I was rooting for her.
Mm-hmm.
Was like in this, and it was sexy.
Right.
It was just like a little naughty. But like technically and visually, it is not the most stunning fight by any means.
No,
there's so much
pretty sloppy. Like
it was, but there was a lot of story to it, which that's not something you think of when you think of a fight like that.
Yeah. What's
Dodge
yours?
and arrows. Mine. I think it's that first fight between Shulin and Jen when she's running away with a sword, because there's so much, and that to me is why this movie is far less violent. It's not so much about a violent martial arts movie. It is more dancing to me, because I feel like in that one they focus on a lot of the footwork, like Jen's trying to like fly away and like Shulin hooks her with her own leg and pulls her back down.
It was like,
and there's like this whole point where she's like
if you're one of our
absorbing Jen's, if you can't see what I'm doing.
No, they can, because this is the Oscar special.
Right, it's the Oscar special.
Okay, so do it.
If like Jen is absorbing Shulin's punch, and she's like using the momentum of the punch against her, and she's like, whoa, where did you learn all these secrets? So there's so much that is explained. There's so much story happening in these fights, but that first one especially, nothing is wasted as far as like a fight to just fight. There's so much happening between the characters constantly with every movement, but they just did it in such a clever way that it's awesome to look at, but it's also really beautiful. And you really have to admire the practice and the artistry and the physicality that goes in with this kind of stuff. It also really sets you up
for any other fight in the movie, because you see the anti-gravity, you see the running, you see just it lets you suspend your disbelief, and you can stay in that suspension for the rest of the movie.
They're almost like superheroes. Like it's it really is that kind of a story. But you're right, like this is the world we live in, this is the story we're telling, come with us, that kind of thing.
Mine is the second Jen Yulin. What is it?
Shulin.
Sorry. Oh, We already talked about this beforehand.
We're
we want
to
get
talk
all
about
the
it
names right.
names right.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty well though.
We're
Yes,
trying.
just leave it to me to get it wrong. But that the second fight that they have, where she's just like, let me pull every single weapon off the wall.
I forgot about that
and
fight.
Massively proficient in every single thing except for the giant saber, like
because it's so
it's
heavy.
It's too heavy, which I loved that. That was such a great touch.
But still, she's
like
swinging it around like she is
and
going
loved,
for the kill.
Like, and I love too at the end. It's like you kind of know who wins, but it also isn't super clear because it's like it wasn't cheating, but it's like if that broken dagger was at your throat, you would die. But technically, the dagger broke. So it's like, did you win or did you lose?
She could still cut her throat.
She could still cut her throat, right? So I really appreciated that, and I thought that fight was just. I yelled out "girl fight" at the top of that one because that one's my favorite of all of them.
So great.
It's
hard to choose. It's so hard to choose.
Shout out to the bamboo fight. Just
right.
Shout
truly.
out.
Visually, probably the coolest sequence.
Who would think like, hey, let's fight in moving trees?
I also feel like I saw the rigging for that fight more than in any other fight, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just kept being like it felt like at one point I saw actual like scaffolding rigging that like was painted green.
I saw trucks driving by, right?
And I was like, that's
weird. It's like when you see the Muppet movie when they're on the bicycles and they've got their Muppets are bicycling, and at first you're like, wow, they're bicycling, and then you're like, wait, how is this? And then it's really obvious that there's something else helping everything.
Right.
And I mean,
just
again,
I love it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It had this movie had a nostalgic feel to it, even though I never watched it, because of things like that.
Yeah,
because of things like being able to see exactly where the wires are coming out of the costume. You can just kind of see that little point, even though they've cleared. And like the editing was 21 years ago, getting those little wires out of the video instead
Which
of.
must have taken forever.
But even still, it's like
you like I can see it. Like I can. I can imagine where they are if I can't.
Where we've talked about the practical, it's like if you had a kid watch this and they'd never seen this before, they would lose their mind. It wouldn't be like bad CG, like bad. Like
it's not bad CG. It's just early.
It's just early.
It's just early effects. It's like
I don't think there isn't any CG.
There is no CG.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if you look at Street Fighter, for example, the OG Street Fighter where the CG is rough.
Or the very first Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Go back and look at that very first Harry Potter.
I think in 2002.
And you watch when Neville falls from the fucking broomstick.
It looks unfinished. Like it was like
it's bad. That
is
like
the first release of Cats before they went back and fixed some stuff.
Bad.
But
this is not that. This is just a nostalgic, like, that you know how it's being done.
Yes.
And the technology to make it so you don't know how it's being done hasn't caught up yet. So like that's why for me
what they're doing is so inventive.
So great. But I definitely like felt it in that fight, in the bamboo fight, where I was like, this feels labored.
Right.
And I felt like I could see it on their faces and that's the only time in the whole movie I could see on their faces that they are trying.
They're
like,
really trying.
Really
because
trying.
Like the part where she's like
cool.
running up the bamboo, where of course she's being held up by rigging, so she has to basically run in place, and someone is pulling down the bamboo branch, and to make that match up, and like make that match up and make it look like she's balanced on it, like get out of here. That must have been so hard. So
just ranting and raving about that fight.
Ranting and raving and
hot takes and rants and raves and all that jazz.
So with that, let's hop into some trivia. I literally I think 2 full pages.
You're gonna need to cut back.
And then Molly, whatever you have, I would love to hear yours as well.
I did 0 trivia research on this movie.
Okay.
Because I was looking into Oscar stuff.
Okay, we'll save yours for the Oscars.
So great. Oscars
I think
trivia.
I got plenty.
That's great.
So let's
don't
do that.
Do all of it.
You don't have to kill yourself over trivia.
No, you don't have to kill yourself over
I
trivia.
do. No, I absolutely do.
Okay, fine.
My face is on the front of this podcast, and so is yours.
No, it's not. They're small, like figures.
And so is Rockets.
Anyway,
my God.
Trivia.
Cue that music. Here we go. Just budgetarily, this movie was shot for $17 million and made $215 at the box office.
Oh, that's a nice little profit.
I think American audiences had never seen something like this, and once the word got out, it just they're like, Foreign films?
Yes.
I dare say. That's the Oscar committee who votes on Oscars. Yes.
Got it.
The old white people.
Okay.
The title itself, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, refers to the undercurrents of emotion, passion, and secret desires that lie beneath the surfaces of polite society and civil behavior.
Oh, well, we should have. I would have loved to have known that.
Like a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So civil behavior around, Jen's role, being betrothed to this guy, polite society, and maybe Jade Fox's disdain for these rich aristocratic boobs, and she's able to infiltrate so easily. And
wait, there are aristocratic boobs?
There are. There's two of them. They're paired together.
You need to.
No, okay,
all right.
Moving on.
Not the meaning, not the breasticle meaning.
I literally thought he was
idiot.
Mad about boobs. Aristocratic, perky boobs.
Also known as idiots. Boobs.
I see.
That's
all
what
right.
you mean, right? Okay.
Yes,
Glad I can be here for that one.
Wow.
This was originally written as a 5-part novel series by a man named Wang Dulu. Starting in the late 1930s, but this story is presented in the film as adapted and condensed from the 4th book of this series.
Holy Moses.
So when we were thinking about or talking about sequels and maybe like stories before and after, there may have been a lot more to the actual novel than what we saw in this movie.
That makes
and knowing where Jade Dragon and Shu Lin got,
that would have been cool. Like, show me those movies.
I would love a prequel.
I would love that too. Right?
I'm sure Ang Lee is listening, so if you could just give us a prequel.
And Michelle Yeoh is in tip-top shape, so
for sure.
She is also definitely a Patreon subscriber. So
clearly listens. Yeah.
Director Ang Lee describes his vision of the film as a, quote, dream of China that probably never existed. So maybe this dream of China where, you have these heroic, sort of how we view superheroes, these figures, these amazing conflicted masters. And
that literally hurt hearing that. So wow.
All lead actors invariably performed their very own stunts, or as many as possible. Mm-hmm. The only CGI in the movie was used at the end during the jump off the mountain and erasing the wires that were on their costumes. That was the only CGI used in the movie.
That's fair.
Props.
I'm fine with that.
Michelle Yeoh purposefully took off an entire year to focus on her training for martial arts and learning how to speak Mandarin for the movie.
And it shows.
And it shows, girl. Good
for
you. Let's see. Taiwanese actress Qi Shu was originally cast as Jen, not Zhang Ziyi. But Qi Shu's agent pulled her out of this movie to do a Pepsi commercial. And she fired her agent directly after she saw this movie.
Now, to be fair,
you probably made a ton
commercials
of money
might have made you more money.
I was about to say she probably made a ton of money off of it.
But
it's a shitty.
But that's a shitty move.
Yeah.
Like
if I did a Pepsi commercial and I were living in my 90-floor townhouse downtown, and then I saw this movie, I'd be like,
furious.
I'm
furious.
Yeah.
All 4 actors spoke Mandarin, but all with different accents. So that's what the movie, and I know we were talking about subtitles, Asian audiences didn't react very well to how this movie sounded and how the actors sounded speaking Mandarin, because it was from like all different parts of Asia. So Chow Yun-fat spoke a Cantonese version of Mandarin. Michelle Yeoh spoke a Malaysian version. Zhang Ziyi spoke a Beijing version, and Chen Cheng spoke a Taiwanese version. So there are 4 different types of Mandarin being spoken in this movie. We can't tell because we're looking at the subtitles, but Asian audiences did not react very well to this movie because of that.
We're unlearned Americans.
That's true.
Are. Where is the purse? We need the purse. Aquafina needs to show us the purse.
Here's where it was filmed.
That's like a Texan, a New Yorker, a Californian, and like a Bostonian all trying to like have
some
Maine
kind
of
accent, like an accent from Maine. Yeah, I just imagine that.
And for us Oregonians, we're like, what? We speak normally. What? But I remember my teachers in school saying like, oh, you say these words a very specific way, and I'm like, oh my god, do I have an accent?
The accent of the Northwest is very, very subtle.
Yeah,
it is
super subtle.
Yeah, very, very subtle.
Good for us. Michelle Yeoh tore her ACL early on, so she was flown to the U.S. for surgery, then returned to the film for her non-fighting scenes until she fully healed, and then she continued on with all of her fighting scenes.
Good for her.
She's Batman.
She's a badass.
She's Batman.
Let me see. The composer for the film, his name is Dun Tan, had just 2 weeks to compose and record the entire score of this movie. 2 weeks to compose and record.
That's a lot of coffee.
That's crazy.
No.
This is the first foreign language film to gross over $100 million in the U.S. Ang Lee pitched to Michelle Yeoh the following. It's Sense and Sensibility, but with martial arts. And she said yes. So
she's like, I'm in.
And again, he directed Sense and Sensibility, which I didn't know. In Chinese, Lo's name means little tiger, and Jen's name means gorgeous dragon, which I thought was really interesting.
Little tiger and gorgeous dragon.
Little tiger and gorgeous dragon. They're in love.
Alternate title of the movie.
Right. That's the prequel.
Kids version.
That's the prequel.
That's the Little Tiger Gorgeous Dragon prequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. In the film, posted and stamped documents indicate that the year is actually June or July in the year 1778, which I thought was really interesting. It's never really specified when the movie is set. We know that it's in a certain dynasty, but we're never told the
Which
year.
one? Yeah.
And I attribute that to, again, Ang Lee's vision of like a dream of China that never was. So I like that he kept it kind of nondescript.
Right. Didn't they mention something about like something was ruined in the Han dynasty? So we know it's like post that.
Right.
But like
but
it
the
doesn't feel
dynasties
like
last like
forever.
Centuries, like a long time. So it's not like how we
super rough.
This film won over 40 awards, but it was nominated for 10 Oscars specifically and won 4 Oscars. So good for it. It currently holds 97% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94 on Metacritic because it's just
amazing.
an amazing movie. So
speaking of award wins.
Wow.
Well, first of all, real quick, round robin, worth a watch. Molly.
Totally worth a watch. Even if you're like, it's been 21 years, why? Just do it. Just do it.
Ben.
Fuck yeah. This movie holds up most of my life after the fact. Like I don't even know if I have the words. Like I watched it 21 years ago and I'm still captivated by it. And the fact that we are bursting through the MCU right now. We're watching all of the Marvel movies
in chronological order.
And to watch a movie like this and then to watch so many Marvel movies, I'm like, fuck, like the artistry that went into this movie, I am so much more engaged. Not to say the Marvel movies are bad, but at the same time, this is a movie that is just so stunning. And to know that there was such minimal CGI, and it just makes you appreciate every aspect of how this movie was made. It's incredible. Yes, watch it as soon as you possibly can. Megan.
Rocket.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he said yes.
I agree, Rocket. Yes. Totally agree.
Yes, absolutely. You should watch it.
Awesome. There it is. Watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, because it's award season.
I heard you say Crouching Tiger.
Watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragoon.
That's right.
That's right.
That's a great accent. That's
I was just gonna say that's
there's
one of
my
those
Northwest
accents.
accent. I hear it now.
I hear it.
Yeah.
So now we go into a very special segment, which is our Oscar trivia and our Oscar predictions.
Woo!
So, man, there are some good ones.
I do need to just disclaimer that I have not. This is going to come as a shock to everyone that I have not watched most of these movies.
I have not watched any of them.
I've only watched Nomadland,
so I can't really make any predictions.
Nomadland.
You said Nomadland like George St. Gigan.
Did I?
I've only watched Nomadland.
Yes. Wait, how do you say it?
Nomad.
Oh, Nomadland. Nomadland.
Nomadland. Not
Nomad. Don't be mad about
nice
the land.
Yes.
Okay.
But Nomadland.
That's the only one I've watched. But you've watched almost all of them.
I was such a good actor this year, and I watched most. I got like 85%.
To be fair, I feel like I got scared by some of them. They were pretty intense.
There's some pretty intense.
So we'll just call this an interview for Ben, because I have also not watched any of them.
Megan,
this is where it's good to have a cinephile.
Both
in the
of
room.
You can leave, and I'll just talk by myself. It's fine.
Well,
great.
So of the movies that you watched that were nominated.
Yes.
What was your favorite / and your favorite doesn't have to be what you think is going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great point.
I was surprised by
let's
so
just ask
many
Ben questions.
I watched Trial of the Chicago 7 pretty early on. We watched Nomadland.
I also watched the Borat movie.
You did watch the Borat movie. That's right.
Which is a surprising a lot of nomination.
Yes. But I'm also very thankful that it's being nominated so much. I watched Sound of Metal, Promising Young Woman, and The Father. I think what surprised me most was Sound of Metal. And I hate to give away spoilers. It's about, I'll just give the premise.
Just say just generally what it's about.
Just say it. It's about a drummer in a punk rock band who starts to lose his hearing, and how he deals with that and moves forward with his life and his romance with the girl who's in the group with him. There's a lot going on in this movie, and the lead actor is actually a student at AMAW in London, which is the studio that I take acting classes at. So that's pretty cool. It was a movie that really surprised me, and it was not what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember coming in the other room and telling you, like, oh my God.
Because I am all things sign language. I love sign language.
There's a lot of sign language in this movie.
Okay, I guess I need to watch this now.
Yeah. So
tell me it's sign language and I will sign right on.
So Sound of Metal definitely surprised me the most. So for Best Picture, I'm kind of hoping for Sound of Metal, but I have a feeling it's going to go to Nomadland.
Okay.
That's just my prediction.
I don't know. I feel like, here's the thing, from what very little I know, after having watched that movie, don't get me wrong, Frances McDormand is amazing. She's a stunning gift of a woman she's a stunning gift of a human. Yes. Like, she's insane.
She's off the grid. She has a publicist specifically so that no one can interview her.
Like,
she's married to one of the Coen brothers.
Really?
She
amazing.
Lives so simply, and she hates doing interviews, period. But whenever I watch her, she just disappears.
I don't know necessarily if that movie is Oscar worthy, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Just because from what you've said of some of the other movies, like specifically The Father, you were crying when I came out of the bedroom, because I work in the bedroom, and you were in here watching, and you were just sobbing. And I was like, well, oh my God, are you okay? And he's like, I just finished watching this movie. And I'm like, oh my, because Ben doesn't normally cry like that for movies. So
it was a gut punch.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that to me, at least, I don't know.
I think she has a good chance of winning Best Actress. And speaking of The Father, I think Anthony Hopkins is going to run away with the Oscar for Best Actor. I don't know if anyone here saw The Father, but it has to do with, no, of course not. It has to do with a man who is struggling with amnesia, and he has a daughter who takes care of him, but it also has to do with how he interprets the world around him. We are led to believe that he is actually living one place when he may live in a completely different place, and people who come in and out of his flat are identified as one person, but could actually be someone completely different. So it's told through the lens of someone who is literally losing their mind. And it is so heartbreakingly good. And for Anthony Hopkins to pull a performance out of his hat like that at his age, not to say I'm surprised he did it, but it was so unexpected, and it is so heartbreakingly good.
Yeah.
And Olivia Colman's in it as well, and she's awesome. Second runner-up for Best Actor, I think, will probably be Chadwick Boseman in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. So that is my prediction.
We watched Black Panther last night, and
that's the one and only prediction I have. Is that Chadwick Boseman will win, because
posthumously.
Because as we know, not necessarily, and not like he doesn't deserve to win, but we've watched enough Oscars and award shows to know that the people that deserve to win don't necessarily always win in the first try, and it's who, like, people have emotional.
Immediately I think of The Color Purple and Ghost. Immediately I think of that.
Or like Nicole Kidman, who, like, everyone thought she should have won for Moulin Rouge, but she didn't, because someone else won. But so they gave her the Oscar for the others, so that she shouldn't have gotten it.
Right. Same with Russell Crowe. Like, he should have won for The Insider, and they gave it to him for Gladiator.
Right.
So I have a feeling that would be my prediction, is that Chadwick is going to win, whether or not that performance deserves it.
Yeah, that's an oopsie. That's an our bad. We're going to fix it.
For Best Actress, rounding out sort of those top categories, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, and Andra Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday.
Yeah, Molly, we are not watching Promising Young Woman. You and I are not watching that.
No, we won't.
Nope.
I watched that. The only one out of these I haven't watched was The United States versus Billie Holiday. So
I think it's going to win.
Yeah, really?
Andra Day is going to win. Yeah.
So out of the four I've seen, I mean, Vanessa Kirby, every one of these actresses turns in such blistering work. Like, I don't know how to choose.
The thing is that if I was ever in the position where I was nominated for something, just the fact that I am in the same grouping with anyone else, it's like I would be like, I'm great dressing up and looking pretty and hanging out and knowing that people considered me in this powerhouse group of actors. Like that's an honor in and of itself. I'm fine with taking that home and being good with it.
I mean, they're so vastly different in their stories and their performances. I think if it's not Andra Day, I would have to almost default to Frances McDormand because she's such an Oscar darling that, again, she's like Meryl Streep. Like you do. Okay. Oh, all right. So we've talked about Meryl Streep on this podcast. Mamma Mia aside,
wait, Mamma Mia and Mary Poppins Returns.
Mary Poppins Returns, that's right, which Meryl Streep didn't need to be in. And I will stand by that until the day I die.
Molly's eyes just got so big.
Side note, that character that she plays in Mary Poppins Returns was written for a man, and they made it into a woman.
Hell yeah!
Fun trivia.
Take it.
Okay.
Well, in the book, it's a man. I should say in the book.
Okay.
Take it.
If I had to choose between these four, I would have to go with
who is that?
Carey Mulligan.
Oh.
I'd go with Carey Mulligan. Promising Young Woman was also another blistering, surprising movie. I remember telling Megan the premise of the movie, and she's like, "Nope, not watching that one." I'm like, "That's okay," because it is it's
horrifying.
What about the most surprising nomination?
I think the Maria Bakalova for Borat. I'm so glad she got nominated, but it was a surprise. And she's so good. She's so good in the movie.
Good. Molly, have you seen that movie?
No.
I don't think it's...
Sacha Baron Cohen is...
What do you think?
A
rapid
genius
fire,
comedian.
It's halfway. It's a wow for me. I
think the first Borat is better.
I don't like the Borat movies generally.
It's a stressful kind of comedy for sure.
It is.
But she is like the vehicle that drives the whole thing. Like Sacha Baron Cohen is there to almost lend support to her.
Yeah.
And she's such a standout. So I think that's the most funny. That's the most
she's
surprising.
So funny.
She's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. For such a ridiculous character, she plays it so grounded and so honest and so naive. Like it's
cool.
The surprise at the other end of the spectrum for me is Glenn Close in Hillbilly Elegy. And I remember telling you after I watched Hillbilly Elegy, I was like, I felt like I was being told to care about this movie every second. You look at these people, look at how these people are living, or look at these characters. You should care about what's going on and what's happening. I felt like it was emotional manipulation. That being said, Glenn Close also disappears into every role she does. I'm not trying to discount her work because she's incredible in the movie.
Just hate Meryl and
but
Glenn.
it's maybe
you just hate them.
I don't hate Meryl Streep, but Glenn Close, she is the standout of the movie. But I think the movie itself overshadows her brilliant performance because the movie just made me feel like I was being manipulated. So I would love for Glenn Close to win. Do not get me wrong. She has been nominated so many times for so many incredible roles.
But has she done Revenant?
No, she hasn't.
She hasn't fought a bear. She hasn't fought a bear. If you don't fight a bear, it's not worth it.
You don't get an Oscar if you don't fight a bear. We all know this.
We all know
Maybe
that.
She could be a rich New York socialite who has to fight dogs in the dog park.
That works.
And then there's your Oscar right there. These are off-leash dogs who should be on leash. But
I'm sorry, are you referring to 101 Dalmatians?
She
legit. It sounds
Cruella
like
DeVille has to fight 101 Dalmatians.
That is exactly what I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
Cruella DeVille has a mental breakdown and all the Dalmatians that are off leash attack her. Legit, Ben, I thought that's what you were saying.
Glenn, if you're listening, and I know you are,
I thought
please
I knew
make
what
this
you were
happen.
saying.
Just fight 101 Dalmatians. So
there's your Oscar.
There's a part of me that hopes Glenn Close wins, but I think the movie is just kind of overshadowed her awesome performance. So moving on to, I think, a last one for supporting actor. We have Paul Raci for Sound of Metal, who was amazing. Mm-hmm. Sacha Baron Cohen for Trial of the Chicago 7, Borat. Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, and Daniel Kaluuya I'm going to look up how to say his name and maybe fix that in post.
All right.
But he was nominated for Judas and the Black Messiah. So we have 3 African-American nominees in this category, which is so fucking great. And thank you to the Oscar committee for opening yourself up to a little bit of diversity this year.
Let's keep
it
that
is long
shit
overdue,
up.
but please, can we keep this shit going?
Let's keep that shit up.
There's so much great work happening.
Yeah, we can keep saying Oscars so white, even though this is a very multicultural panel of nominations. In general,
in the right direction,
hashtag Oscars so white.
I hope that especially this last year has made a lot of people aware of how much good work is happening and how these actors of every color should be recognized.
And I think it's really important to continue supporting and continue being aware and continue to make change, because change is not an overnight job. It is not a couple of protests and then you're good. You need to keep moving forward.
Daniel's performance in Judas and the Black Messiah is something that I have heard nothing but good things about. I didn't see the film. But Sacha Baron Cohen was also brilliant in Trial of the Chicago 7. It's a turn that you just don't really expect from him. It's a really grounded, dramatic turn from him. So he might take it away. I think that's a safe prediction between him and Daniel. So
I know who Leslie Odom Jr. is. I saw him in Hamilton. I also held the door for him at a coffee shop.
That's right. We did see him in Hamilton. And Aldous Hodges is in it. As
I
well,
thought you were saying Aldous Hodges in Hamilton, and I just about shit my pants.
Ben, Aldous Hodges.
No, I shit my dress.
Leslie Odom Jr. is also nominated for Best Song or he's double nominated this year because of the song. Yeah,
original song, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Speak Now. It's from the Pixar movie that came out. It was about jazz, right?
Soul.
Thank you.
Which I also have on my to-do. I need to watch that movie.
You do need to. It will make you cry.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm sorry.
I feel like everyone's like, if we can make them cry, then we have a good movie. Like, can you just
it's
make them laugh?
The movie is about death. In it's cleverly worded soul because it's about jazz music, but it's about the soul.
Do we need to do that?
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love jazz. So
I love jazz too.
Watch it. Just be ready to cry.
So those are my major category predictions. The only one that I left out was Best Director. So scrolling over,
are you not going to leave it out then?
I'm not going to leave it out. I just realized I did.
JK.
David Fincher for Mank, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, and Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round. I'm pretty sure Chloe Zhao is going to walk away with the Oscar for Nomadland. I think that is safe to say.
I'm not gonna lie. It was a difficult movie to watch, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
It was eye-opening to know that people live like this.
Yeah.
And it was eye-opening
and choose to live like that.
Yeah. Some of them are forced to live like that, but some of them choose to live like that.
Yeah.
And are happy living like that. And just as somebody that is a nester and was displaced for a year, I cannot imagine being displaced for life. No.
And those are my Oscar predictions. Molly,
you have
trivia. Some Oscar trivia for us.
I do. The first bit is about this year's Oscars, which hopefully people know this already because there was a lot of history made with these nominations. Chloe Zhao. I am so sorry that I suck so bad at people's names.
I would judge you, except I'm just as bad.
And it's everybody. It is white people. It is people of color. I am terrible at this, and I have realized it more and more as we do this podcast.
It's
Molly called me Bond for a year.
Bad with names. And I'm sorry.
Just lean into it.
Chloe is the first Chinese woman and woman of color to be nominated for a director, to be nominated as Best Director.
Incredible.
She's also nominated for editing, and she's the first for the same movie, and she's the first woman to be nominated for 4 things in 1 year. She's also nominated for, I believe, screenplay. And I forget what the third one was.
Edited, wrote, directed, and But that would be screenplay, right?
Edited,
or maybe
wrote,
based on a story by
It might also go to best because it's nominated for best picture, right?
Oh yeah.
And I believe
so
that you, as the director, you get the credit for best
Yes.
picture,
Yes, you
best
do.
photo.
Yeah.
Man, talk about a quadruple threat.
Anyway,
Jesus.
and piggybacking on that, it's also the first time ever that there have been 2 women nominated for best director.
Yeah.
Riz Ahmed and Stephen Yoon both made history with their nominations as the first best actor who's a Muslim nominee who's a Muslim, and the first best actor nominee who's Asian, respectively.
I was about to correct you on that, but Mahershala Ali won for supporting.
For supporting, right. And that, yeah. So
that's very important.
So not the first Muslim to win an Oscar, but the first one to be nominated for lead.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Chadwick Boseman, as we talked about, received his first Oscar nomination, but posthumously, and he is not the first person to be nominated, nor the first person to win, if he does win an Oscar posthumously.
Yeah.
One of them who won was a sound editor who was nominated 21 times and never won. And on his 22nd nomination, he won, and he had died.
Oh my God.
I know, so sad. Turns out sound editors are famously, like, apparently there's only 7 of them or something like that, because if you look for the people who have been most nominated for Oscars, they are in sound engineering and sound editing.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, lots of them have like 16, 17, 20, 22.
Wow.
They like have longevity in the industry.
Wow.
Let's see. Can you get, I'm not going to tell you this, I'm going to ask you this. Can you guess the first animated motion picture to win Best Animated Motion Picture? So what year did that, because it has not always been a category. So this category was supposedly created because this movie came out. They're like, we got to give this movie an Oscar.
Toy Story?
I was going to say Toy Story.
It's 2001.
Okay, so it's not Toy Story.
It's not Toy Story. Toy Story may have won an Oscar though.
It's the way it was before Beauty and the Beast?
Nope. That's way before 2001.
Well, that it should have.
The Emperor's New Groove.
No. It's a great movie, but no. Is it a foreign film?
It is not.
Okay.
So the first animated movie to win a Best Animated Oscar is Shrek.
Oh, wow.
And so I know. I don't know what it was up against, and I'm not saying it won Best Movie.
No,
I'm saying
but Best Animated.
Like this is the conspiracy theory: is that the category for Best Animated Picture was created because Shrek was so good they needed to make sure that it won an Oscar.
Gotcha.
I see.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Oh, Shrek. Game changer.
It's all about the money sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's also an incredible movie.
Yeah, it is.
Let me see.
Okay, what is happening? What are you doing, Pat? Where do you want to sit?
Oh no, I Googled something else before we started, and now I lost the other thing that I had Googled.
No.
I know. Oh, so you may have noticed that they stopped saying, and the winner is, I was going to bring this up earlier. You now say, and the award goes to, and that's because they wanted to make it less competitive and make it just about honoring the best of the best, and then one gets an award. But like the nominee, that's why everyone's like, just being nominated is like winning. And so they were like, yeah. You're right.
You know what?
So a lot of people haven't noticed that they used to say for the first like 55 years, and the winner is, and now they say, and the Oscar or the award goes to.
Wow.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. La La Land is the only movie to have been nominated 11 times that did not win Best Picture. The other 2 that did get nominated that many times won, and it was Titanic and Lord of the Rings.
Return of the King.
Return of the King. Yeah. Yes.
What was the other one that was All About Eve?
I think All About Eve had the nominations but didn't win Best Picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, All About Eve didn't have as many. I think it was.
Oh, really?
Didn't have as many nominations.
Gotcha. I thought I had 11. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or maybe everything else. Like, the record of 11 wins is shared by Ben-Hur, Titanic, and The Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Oh, I still haven't seen Ben-Hur.
Wow.
What is it? Okay. So All About Eve All About Eve, Titanic, and La La Land are tied for the most total nominations with 14 each.
Oh, wow.
All About Eve ultimately won 6, Titanic won 11, and La La Land won 6. But All About Eve and Titanic both won Best Picture, and La La Land did not.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because Moonlight won.
Because Moonlight won.
Right.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy.
Do you know what picture had the most nominations without winning anything?
Ooh, I feel like I just...
It needs to be a movie that everybody loved.
This was recent, wasn't
There's
it?
actually 2 of them, and no, they are both before the 90s.
Really? Okay, so the most nominations did not.
I don't know why my first thought
one.
was Casablanca, but I know that's not right.
I'll give you the first one, and it's actually okay. So the first one is The Turning Point by Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
And the second one, Megan actually already said the name of the movie in this podcast.
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh.
I know.
I don't know what I said.
It's The Color Purple.
Oh, wow.
What?
Not a single one for
The Color Purple went in with 11 nominations and won 0.
Wow.
That's a slap in the face.
Because they thought they were going to win some. There has been no picture that has won all 4 acting awards. Not a single picture.
I'm actually okay with that.
I am too.
It would have to be.
Fine.
It would have to be an amazing, because you think of like Silence of the Lambs, where you both lead actors won. I suppose you could find the supporting cast nominations somewhere in there, but it would have to be like the best ensemble piece in history to win all 4 of those. Wow.
What is the most recent? I'm just going to do the one of 4 of these. The most recent franchise that won Best Picture twice. Ben
franchise which won it
franchise.
Twice.
Marvel?
Franchise.
Disney?
No.
Almost said Fox.
Are they recent?
Ish. Within the 2000s. Within the
2000s franchise movies.
We literally mentioned one of the movies already, like
really?
2 minutes ago. It's the Lord of the Rings franchise.
Okay.
They won Best Picture twice.
But Ian McKellen was only nominated for supporting actor for the first Lord of the Rings. I do remember that. And he didn't win. But
speaking of Disney, he has the most Oscar wins ever. 22 wins, 59 nominations. This is all before he died. It's not the Disney company, it's him, because he would put out nature documentaries, he would put out shorts, animated shorts. All of those. And one year he got 6 nominations in 1 year.
Wow.
For like 4 or 5 different categories.
Holy crap. Good for you, Walt.
Second in line is John Williams with 52 nominations.
Okay.
Not surprising. Not surprising.
That makes sense.
Including last year for composing the Star Wars The Rise of the Skywalker.
Wow.
Even though we have thoughts about that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Katharine Hepburn has won Best Actress the most.
3 times?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wait, Best Actress 7 times?
Oh no, sorry, I'm 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
No, but ironically, not for her 4 most famous movies. That's why I read it.
Interesting.
So she won for Morning Glory, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, The Lion in Winter, and On Golden Pond.
Wow.
She did not win for Bringing Up Baby, The Philadelphia Story, Adam's Rib, and The African Queen.
I cannot believe she didn't win for Bringing Up Baby.
I've seen one of those
Bringing
movies.
Up Baby is so fucking good. If you want to see an incredibly funny romantic comedy with her and Cary Grant, that is such a wonderful movie.
As we can probably all guess, Meryl Streep leads with 21 nominations for
everything.
Female with the most nominations.
Existence.
Right.
Yeah.
Including 3 wins.
All for Best Actress, right? So if
one is why can't I do, what are words? Not assist. I want to say assistant
Supporting?
actress.
Rocket,
Supporting, right.
Supporting. One is for supporting.
Okay.
I believe. Oh, no. Yeah. Best supporting actress for Kramer versus Kramer, and best actress for Sophie's Choice and The Iron Lady.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, there's so much more. And of course, everyone can go. Oh, Shirley Temple is the youngest person to ever win an Oscar at 5 years old.
Wow.
Was given a honorary Oscar that they no longer have anymore, which is for like the kid, like the best kid of the year.
Best child.
I remember that,
But the youngest person to be nominated is Tatum O'Neal. Tatum O'Neal for Paper Moon.
Yeah.
She was 10 years old.
Man, how old was Anna Paquin when she won for The Piano? I wonder, because she was
I think she was
super
12.
young. Oh, was she 12? Okay. I know, and Kirsten Dunst won a Golden Globe for Interview with a Vampire.
Right, but she didn't win.
But I think that was supporting actress. Anyway. Wow.
Yeah. So the director who has won the most Oscars is John Ford.
Oh, okay.
For all of the movies I haven't seen. With a second place tie between William Wyler and Frank Capra.
Oh, wow.
Frank Capra.
No, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Crazy.
That is, I mean, there's so much. I could literally go on for hours.
We could go on for a long time.
It is a shock to people that Alfred Hitchcock has never won a Best Director Oscar.
Oh.
That's a little shocking, actually.
And John Huston directed his own father and daughter to Oscar wins in his movie The Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
Wow. Yeah, Angelica Houston won for that. That's right. That's right. Crazy.
Yeah.
Rocket.
So there you go. Oh, and then there's the one final one, which we love, is that we all know that Julie Andrews won a Tony for My Fair Lady, and then when they made the movie, they decided to go with a bigger star, one that was already in movies, and that was a blessing because she got to then play Mary Poppins. And that year at the Oscars, My Fair Lady and Mary Poppins were both up for Best Movie, and Audrey Hepburn and her were both up for Best Leading Actress, and she won Best Leading Actress for Mary Poppins. So I love that because Mary Poppins is one of my top 3 favorite movies in the world.
It is my favorite Disney movie, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So yay!
All right, there's your Oscar
trivia.
Yay, award season.
If you're listening on Oscar day before the Oscars, please enjoy yourself. Have a drink if you drink safely. Hopefully it's our last Oscars where we don't all get to be together having a big party.
I know.
Even though I don't watch the movies, as soon as I left home, I started having Oscar parties where we would like pick who we think is going to win and have food and drink and dress up. And we would always just pick who I wanted to win, and they never won. But
well, then
so enjoy your night tonight, everyone.
Let's endeavor to try to do it next year.
Yeah. Have a great time. Be safe.
Yeah. If you're having an Oscar viewing party, even if it's just with your family, maybe take some pictures. Maybe tag us in your Instagram.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're doing tonight.
Let's see it.
Let's see it. Let's hear your predictions.
Let's do that too.
So thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. And watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Enjoy award season, enjoy Oscar night. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening in, and we will see you next time. Bye. So I Married a Cinephile is hosted by Benjamin Farmer
and Megan Carver.
It is produced by Molly McCarthy with original music by Tom McGovern. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at
SIMAC Podcast.
And you can find us on Patreon at
patreon.com/SIMAC Podcast.
Subscribe today and help out all the artists that make this podcast happen.
So I married a cinephile.